Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with of human rights. And among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit
Good evening, my fellow Americans. Yes, it is I, your lovable host, Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire. Yes, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. It is Tuesday, November the 13th, in the year of our Lord, 2012, and I am back from my trip to sunny Central California, I guess, North Central California, from San Francisco. My first time out to the West Coast, saw the Pacific Ocean from the United States for the first time in my life. It was a nice trip. San Francisco is a beautiful, albeit dirty city. It's pretty dirty, folks. It really is. It's a beautiful city, but at the same time, it's rather dirty. And it's a great place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there. Now, here's the thing about San Fran. And I cannot speak of other cities, metropolitan areas in California, because I haven't been there, but I'm going to assume it's pretty similar. Now, San Francisco, I guess it's, according to the web, it is one of the top 3 best cities in this country to visit. Best city to visit. At the same time, according to the FBI's crime statistics, San Francisco is the 10th most dangerous city in the nation. San Francisco has a high crime rate. Now, you combine tourists with lots of money in high crime, yeah, that's a problem. However, is it not true that San Francisco is located in the most liberal state in the Union? I don't think nobody out-liberals California. Well, Massachusetts tries to come close, but still, nobody out-liberals California. With that said, California also has some rather high taxes. Now, I got to tell you, going towards the downtown area, I do believe it was Market Street. It kind of cuts. Well, it doesn't really cut the city in half, but it kind of does. Because if you go west of Market Street towards the waterfront, that's downtown. You go east of Market Street, and the farther away that you go east, the worse the city becomes. Now, my hotel was basically right a block away from Market Street. It was near near the San Francisco Federal Building. I get this thing is ugly as sin. It cost the American taxpayers $144 million to build this monstrosity. No, I didn't take pictures of it. I probably should have, because it was just totally ugly. $144 million, and it was 2 years overdue in building. And it doesn't have an HVAC system. And for those of you in Rio Linda, which is in California, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. It does not have a traditional mechanical HVAC system. It's naturally ventilated like buildings used to be before HVAC was invented. And they has this wire mesh, basically, that was put on the building that helps make it look ugly. Looks like a giant fishnet over this thing, over the building. It's just hideous. You need to look it up. Google it. San Francisco Federal Building. It's just hideous. Now, outside the Federal Building, and you go a block over and you're on Market Street, and then you head to downtown, and all down Market Street, and in the subway system, yes, San Francisco has a subway. They have a subway. I rode the BART system to and from the airport. Because BART, the actual station, or the platform for the BART was actually about 2 or 3 blocks away from my hotel, so I took the BART. It's very quiet and efficient down there. It is. I'll give them that. But it's 2 levels below the surface. So because there's another system that's above the BART. And I don't know how you get to that. I don't even know what part of the system that was. But the BART, the Bay Area Rapid Transit System, and it has it's limited. I mean, it goes out into the suburbs and everything, much like our T-rail. You know, the BART is much like the T here in the Massachusetts or Boston, Massachusetts area, where it's not the central T within Boston itself, but it's more like the commuter rails. That is what the BART is like. It has limited stops, but it is more like the commuter rail here in Boston. And it goes directly out to the airport. And the airport, the San Francisco International Airport, they have a tram system that goes around the airport that carries passengers to different, because the terminal is pretty big. And it's not manned by human beings. It was kind of disconcerting to know that I was on this robotic thing. But it was cool. It was cool. A lot of money spent on the San Francisco airport, including that manless or personless operated tram system. I'm sure it's very efficient, doesn't get tired, just keeps going around, does its duty. You know, you don't have to worry about giving people breaks or changing the shifts or anything like that, because there's nobody operating. Well, I'm sure there's probably a central location where there's a few people that are watching the whole system, but there's nobody on the now there are human beings manning the BART system, yes, but the tram system in and around the airport itself is not operated by human beings on each tram. But if you're walking down Market Street, now one thing that struck me about the most liberal state in the union, arguably San Francisco is probably, you could argue that it is the most liberal city in the state of California. So you could arguably say that San Francisco is the most liberal city and the most liberal state in this country with fairly high taxation. And we know this because not only are jobs drying up in California, but people are fleeing California because of the taxes are too damn high. And the cost of living is too high. But what I'm struck by in a state and in a city that tells everybody in this country, because they're liberal, that they're so caring and committed to caring for people, and the government is going to care for you and take care of you, that I have never in my life seen that many homeless people, male and female, mostly male, and a good number of them, they're not in their right mind. They have some mental issues. But for crying out loud, I mean, I realize the city is, let's say 800,000 or 900,000 people live in San Francisco, but for crying out loud, I don't know the stats of the number of homeless that I'm sure they've probably been doctored, but I have never seen that many homeless people. And look, I've been to New York City, I've been to Boston, been to Washington, D.C., been to Atlanta, Georgia, Charlotte, North Carolina, been to Detroit, Michigan, Syracuse, New York. I have never, Columbus, Ohio, I've never seen that many homeless people. That, folks, is proof that liberalism does not work. It's false, it's fake, it's phony. It's a giant, when you talk about high taxation, you need to raise taxes to help these people. It is nothing but a legal money laundering scheme. It is, folks. It is. It's taking from those that produce, washing it and running it through the federal bureaucracy where it gets eaten up by salaries and benefits and everything else in the government. Then it gets sort of disseminated down to the state and local level, where each, those employees, state and local government employees, have to take their cut in the form of salaries and benefits and retirement and all that kind of stuff. What's left to go down to the people? Not much. And when you hear somebody say, well, we need to budget $100 million to fix this problem. No, you need more than that, because it's going to cost them $100 million just to pay for the staffing. I mean, this is true with our schools, our public school system. I mean, the number of amount of money that is spent on red tape and bureaucracy outside of the classroom is phenomenal. Yet we're told, well, we need to spend more money on education. We spend more money per pupil annually in our public school system on average across this country than anywhere else on the planet. We don't need to spend more money on public education. What we need to do is get freaking government out of the way. The same with San Francisco. The homeless people. I mean, I felt for some of them. I mean, it was shameful. Now, I don't know. Maybe if you wanted to say, well, it was in an ultra conservative state, maybe like Dakotas or Montana or Texas. Now, you might haven't. You would hear about how evil and mean and nasty, because conservatives don't care about people. But this is in arguably the most liberal city in the most liberal state in the union. The number of homeless was appalling. They were all over, except for certain areas of the city, of course, obviously. I'm sure because they're not allowed in those exclusive areas. But it was ridiculous. The city by the bay. Again, San Francisco is very beautiful. But it's also very dirty at the same time. I don't know how you can be such a dirty city and be very beautiful at the same time. Maybe because it was sunny. Frankly, it was kind of interesting because it was actually colder in California than it was back here in New England while I was there. I mean, I get on it didn't get above 58 degrees in California while I was there, but I get back here and find out it was almost 70. We get on the plane. It's 45 degrees in San Francisco, and we get on the plane, and they're telling us that because I'm flying to the coast,